Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. You are watching this webinar on our PME Vidya channel 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. Well, this is our webinar series on ET and ICT, and the topic that we have taken up today is Digital Pedagogy as a lever for improving students' learning, role of school leaders. Now we are going to talk about it in a detailed fashion, but before that let me tell you that you can also participate in the session with your questions, suggestions and of course your feedback. So please take down our phone number, which is 8800440559. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Lastly, since we are streaming live on our YouTube handle NCERT Official, you can always go to the comment section, put in your relevant questions there, your suggestions, your feedback, and get in touch with us instantly. Your feedbacks are extremely important to us so that we can actually improve upon our sessions and include newer content in the same. Now, since we are going to talk about school leaders' role, I think it is very important to talk about it, especially in a scenario where transformation of education is happening, because here school leaders, they play a crucial role of a visionary, driving institutional and cultural change through effective leadership, and not only this but also fostering through positive school environment, culture, and promoting professional development of teachers and ultimately improving the student outcomes. But what really matters here is actually the use of information and communication technology, and that too in a big way. But we are going to talk about in detail, and who is there with us to shed some light on it. So please join me in welcoming our expert for today's session. We have with us Dr. Angel Rathnabai. Ma'am, namaskar and a very warm welcome to you.
Namaskar.
And let me tell everybody that ma'am is Associate Professor from Central Institute of Educational Technology, CIET, NCERT, New Delhi. And now, before we delve deep into the conversation, let me tell you the topic once again. It is Digital Pedagogy as a lever for improving students' learning, role of school leaders. Now, ma'am, why I have repeated this topic? Because there is a particular reason behind the same. I want to understand. We all know, and I've just mentioned that how school leaders are playing a crucial role. But why we have taken up this topic for this webinar series, the first of all, and what exactly is the relevance of this topic in today's scenario where education is undergoing a massive change?
Yeah. As we are today discussing about school leaders' role in transforming education, we should first understand the context about what the National Education Policy, the visionary document, speaks about it.
Right.
So if we see the National Educational Policy, it very clearly talks about what is the role of school leaders. It brings out the point that school leaders are expected to be a visionary.
Absolutely.
So that's a first statement it tells about the school leaders, that school leaders cannot be just playing it as a designation. It is not just a job. School leaders, whoever is in the position of school administrators, and or we can call them as HM or principal or assistant headmasters. Sometimes they are coordinators at particular level of higher secondary, middle level or pre-primary. Whatever leadership role in the school people play, they are expected to be first a visionary, and not just visionary, they should be also not an administrative leader. They are just deciding upon how many benches I will buy, where I will put a blackboard, but they are expected and called to be instructional leaders who sets a clear vision for the school and create a conducive environment for providing the quality education. And they are the ones who are responsible for promoting innovative teaching method, because until and otherwise the school leaders play the create that environment, we cannot expect the teachers to really practice what they are thinking, or we cannot expect that to be implemented in a school. And also the role of the school leader is very crucial, because they are the ones who enable the professional development of continuous professional development. So when we wanted to leverage digital technology for improving the learning outcomes of students and thereby to improve the quality of education, the role of school leaders is crucial.
Extremely important and very well said. I believe that you very rightly mentioned that it's not just about looking after the administration part, that this is how the curriculum will look like, or so many benches are required. It's not just about infrastructure, but it's about overall professional development of teachers, of course outcome of the students, and absolutely something that is very necessary, which is the use of ICT, because we are talking about not just simple traditional way of teaching and learning. We are talking about connecting the last mile learner with the educational setup. We are talking about equity and inclusivity, and National Education Policy talks about that. We have to fulfill all the guidelines that are laid down by NEP 2020, and hence we know that how important it is for a school leader to actually excel in his role. And now after knowing about what this document, National Education Policy 2020, says about the role of school leaders. There's so many roles that a school leader generally plays. You mentioned some of them. But according to you, what are the various roles that a school leader plays, or what are the various attributes that he or she brings to the table, and how do you think they are actually playing an important role in transforming education through ICT?
Yeah. So we, as we were discussing about the various roles of school leaders, very specifically, I want to just draw the attention on seven roles of a school leader, which can bring a change in the pedagogy. Right. Because whenever we implement something in the school, there are certain role a school leader has to play.
Yes.
So if we see this, one of the thing is, first of all, the role is to set a vision for an innovative practice. Because until and otherwise there is no vision, there cannot be an innovative practice in the school. Yes. Because if there is no vision, it will come like a kind of ad hoc arrangement. Sometime every world talks about something, so today let us do it. It will be like it's only because it's trending, I'm doing it. So it cannot be something as a trending thing can be applied as pedagogy, but it has to have a vision with clear statements saying that why I'm bringing this innovative pedagogy in. So first role is to set up a vision for the innovative practice. The second role is expected is, when I have a vision, I have to prepare the environment. Yes. The co-partners in creating that environment is teachers. So there is a need for providing or enabling rather than providing. We should use a word, we can use a word that they should be an enablers. They should enable professional development of teachers to understand how these innovative pedagogies can bring a change in the classroom. Yeah. In addressing the in addressing the learning outcomes, or even to provide a environment or to create an ecosystem where a child can learn as it is envisioned in the NEP. And the third role the leader should play is about allocation of resources. Today, if there is no resource, all the investment done on the pedagogical practices or on the professional development is a task. So there is need for allocating of resources. So for allocating resources, first of all, the school leader should have an understanding of what is required. So that is also one of the key thing a school leader has to think about. The next thing which they have to think about is to redesign the pedagogy to incorporate modern approaches. Okay. Sometimes we cling on to the old one where we are not comfortable to come out of our comfortable zone. So it is very required that the school leader should have that strong move to come out of that comfort zone and redefine what I wanted to do. How I can accommodate the new things that's happening. How should I accommodate? Should I customize and integrate, or should I completely redefine? That is the decision of a school leader as a school context. So that's also a major role for the school leader to play in. Next is, it's very important to foster a collaboration among teachers. Because whenever we want to bring any innovation, we cannot stand alone and do something. Because we are dependent on each other in a school system. And sometimes we are not only dependent on each other, we are dependent on the ecosystem, which includes many other things. So it is very important to have that collaboration as a culture. So that's also like to foster that. It's also a role of the school leader. And the other thing is also to promote a continuous improvement as a culture in the school. It is not today like there is a kind of audit happening, or today there is an inspection. So I know that this year inspection is coming, so for the last 6 months, before the inspection 6 months we will work and showcase. It's not like that. It should become a culture that every day there should be a continuous improvement. It is not just jumping from 0 to 5. It is from moving from 0 to 5 in a gradual speed. Absolutely. Am I moving from 0 to 0.5? Am I moving? So that kind of continuous progress should be a culture rather than seeing just one day achievement. So for that, there is a lot of promotional effort that has to be taken by the school leader. The last thing is, it also requires monitoring and evaluating the impact of change. Many times there are lots of changes comes in, lots of vision is there, but the vision is not, I have a vision, I did something, but whether it worked out, whether it gave me a desired result is not evaluated, or sometimes the monitoring doesn't happen. So it's a very crucial role of the school leader is also to monitor and evaluate the impact of the changes.
Absolutely. I mean, school leaders are clearly setting an example for others to follow, and they are the basic support system that entire school scenario requires, because they are setting a clear direction, they're planning strategically, and they're also fostering teacher and staff collaboration. They are of course talking about the students and following the guidelines laid down by NEP 2020, and most importantly they're promoting a culture of learning, building relationships with the use of ICT. And you have highlighted these 7 important points, but if we just narrow down the details a bit, and if we talk about the considerations for school leaders for the improvement of digital pedagogy, because now we are talking about only ICT, we are talking about augmented reality, virtual labs. There's so many tools that we are using, and of course we are also talking about reaching the unreached, or including the students for the inclusive part as well. How do you see it? What are the key components for the same?
Yeah. All the 7 plays a crucial role even when we wanted to implement digital pedagogy, but I would like today to discuss about 5 considerations that a school leader should think about for improving the digital pedagogy in the school. So we can go one by one.
Sure.
I think let's discuss one by one for us, so that we make certain very specific discussion on the points.
And what tops the list?
Yeah. The first one is about the establishing the infrastructure.
Okay.
If we speak infrastructure earlier, we always consider only a physical infrastructure.
Yes.
Making arrangements of the blackboard, or nowadays interactive boards, and making chair, table, like whatever it is in the physical mode. But today, the entire document which talks about the national digital infrastructure for school improvement very clearly spells out. It's not just a physical infrastructure, it is essential today to build a digital infrastructure.
Okay.
To start from maintaining your students' attendance, maintaining students' enrollment details of children's personal details onwards, to every year what is their achievement. Today we are talking like when the new NCF has spoken about.
Yeah.
It clearly talks about the learning in a holistic way. It is not just like, okay, every year there is a mark card, just get the mark card, go, pass or fail. It's not talking about, we are talking about a holistic progress card which gradually talks about how the learning outcomes are achieved, how competencies are achieved, how the goals are achieved. So if we really wanted to go that, all the data is required to be in a continuous manner.
Yes.
So there is a need for a digital database of the students' data as well. So this demands, it's not sufficient to have just a computer. We need to have a database in our school. Today, many schools have worked on physical infrastructure. Now the call for the school leaders for implementing digital pedagogy effectively, it is also important to build a digital infrastructure in the school. In terms of hardware, sometimes we see that there are teachers who are ready to innovate, but there is no infrastructure in the school. When I speak about infrastructure, it doesn't mean all the costly things. Today in India, we see teachers innovating even the physical infrastructure.
Wow.
In terms of gadgets, in terms of softwares. We have lots and lots of case studies that we can pull out from the National ICT awardee stories, but I would like to just quote today here two of the stories. One of the National ICT awardee, when he saw that he is working in a government school where there is no interactive board, he sees that there is another private school nearby which has completely e-learning setup where children and parents are excited about it.
Yes.
So he was thinking, what can I do for my children? He is just a middle school teacher, not a school leader, so-called HM or principal, but there was a leadership in him to think about it. That is where he thought about, okay, how do I enable the infrastructure so that the children can be given the digital pedagogy benefits. So what he did is he just googled and then he found out a way and he invented his own kit which can make any wall to become an interactive board. So our teachers have lots and lots of talent.
Yes.
They have lots and lots to invent. It is not always that government is establishing it. There are n number of stories where one of the national awardee has done a crowdsourcing where many people have under CSR fund, they have supported. But there needs a vision for the organization to seek. Today, this is what is my need. Just going and asking, okay, I want a digital board. That will not really help. But why do I need it? What will I do with this in the school? What it can make a difference. If I'm clear with this as a visionary, I'll be able to go and demand for it.
Yeah.
I want to also share one of the practice. It was so interesting when I came across in the Facebook. I was seeing there are many teachers who are in my Facebook Connect. One of the teacher has posted it some 2-3 years back, even before pandemic. But after pandemic, I see this growing a lot.
Yeah.
One of the teacher has posted called Kalvi Seer. That's a Tamil term which is called as like every girl when they get married and goes to the in-laws house, usually the parents give them kind of gifts to carry as a treasure from them to the in-laws place. That is called as in Tamil called Seer. So what this people have done as a villagers, throughout the year they save money in the like in a box.
Piggy bank.
And they bring that money together in the starting of the year and everyone buys what is required for the school that year. Wow. And I was seeing the photo, the whole village is carrying a digital board. It's such a huge box. 2-3 people were carrying it on their head and walking towards school, taking all the students along with them and telling that this is my gift to the school.
Lovely.
So it's not that digital infrastructure or infrastructure required for enabling digital pedagogy is not always in our hands. It is only need to find out ways. So the very first point which we want when we wanted to talk about establishing digital infrastructure, there are few things required. Minimum a computer lab. Today computer lab doesn't mean always every desktop should be there. Today even in in one of the state, one of the awardee has brought in through CSR fund only tabs. There are states who have given tabs to every principal.
Yes.
So today government is giving, but in many places this infrastructure is not valued. Sometimes people sell it out.
Yeah.
So why they are selling out? Because they don't know the importance of
That's
it.
right.
So that is where the school leaders, when it is establishing infrastructure, it is not purchase. It is about creating awareness among people what this infrastructure can bring out. Also orienting and demanding from others that what it can bring to the school. Finding out ways and means to get it done into the school. So that is what we talk about digital infrastructure that has to be part of establishing infrastructure. And there are many times we are not aware of what is available. So many times when we discuss with leaders, school heads, they used to say like we have to purchase digital content. because if we wanted to really use our interactive boards, we want content. Why should we purchase? We have Diksha, a storeware to storehouse of all content.
Yes.
Why can't we? Then the next point they say is like, yeah, Diksha is there, but it is works only in internet. We can't use it. It's really not. Even in the borders of Kargil, where there is no internet available, the state has been able to use digital content because they have downloaded, put it in a hard disk and put it on a local network and shared among the schools. So there are many states where they find that there is no network connectivity. They get the content in hard disk and use it in the classroom. So it's all about finding out the ways. For finding out the ways, we need to be a visionary. So that's again a emphasis for the school leaders. Until and otherwise we don't have vision, we will not be able to establish the infrastructure. When we say infrastructure, it is not just physical infrastructure. We need to really build in digital infrastructure, which can be digital devices. It also includes digital portals and apps that are available or that needs to be built up. It is also requirement of digital resources. There are lots of softwares available as free and open source. No need to purchase. You need to just download and install for using it in the classroom. If you wanted to install, like you want to encourage digital pedagogy, surely there is a need for a software. For example, if a maths teacher has to bring in digital pedagogy, I need GeoGebra software. Or I need a RoboCompass software, which is free. We can, and open source. The only thing is we should have that awareness and then we need to bring into the classroom. So this is the very first thing that will need to be established.
Well, that is why they are called visionaries, and the stories that you've narrated, these are stories of willpower, gut, determination and courage, because absolutely you're right when you say that you need to have a vision. Why do you want anything? It's not just about controlling the budget or maintaining infrastructure. It's about collaboration. It's about operational efficiency. And in the post-pandemic era, we are living in a scenario where we need ICT, because we are not talking about physical education, we're talking about physical education. And apart from that, there is another thing that you have touched upon a bit, and that is professional development of teachers. That is also important, because without necessary training, they won't be able to operate at the level they are expected to. So your take on the same?
Yeah. Today, professional development is something like, after NEP has emphasized on 50 hours of professional development. Today, that the way it has been taken up, there is one level where everyone wants to implement it, but in another way, just it was achievement of 50 hours. If it is in numbers, we are not going to really bring any transformation. So if really transformation has to come due to the professional development, then what is the take of what is the role of the school leader in it? That is very, very crucial for us to think about. So some of the things which our school leader can do is, first of all, allocating the resources. It's like not telling that anything you do and come, and we should count it as professional development. So there can be some goals set up at the starting of the year. So for that, the teachers as well as the school leaders has to explore what is available under the banner called professional development. So one is the mode of professional development. Today the professional development is accepted in online, face-to-face as well as blended mode. Even in online, it can be an online training. It can be attending an online course. It can be part of doing some online activity. There is n number of option NEP, and the guideline which is given by NCERT for professional development has made available for. But as a school leader, they should be aware of what is available first for my teachers, which I can show to my teachers. These are all available in the world. So the very first point a teacher the school head has to have is how I can allocate resources. It's not just allocating, only if I am aware I can allocate. So if in the previous year I have been observing a teacher and I found that this teacher is very little poor at not able to really do a classroom management. Then the next year professional development, the school leader can suggest. In the last academic year, based on the observation, these are the areas you need an improvement. So next year, look for courses, look for activities which helps you to improve on this. Rather than saying X, Y, Z, you do and come, I'll count it for professional development. So this will help them with a constructive criticism towards growth of the teacher. We are very proud to all the time to see, like in corporate sectors, when we go, the growth chart is like this. So they have a kind of evaluation, and this is what we tell to students also.
Okay.
We need to have a pre-test. Based on the pre-test, wherever they are lacking, let's give intervention and then go for the post-test. Right. Why not that for teachers? So we know that teachers are also not getting enough time to do self-reflection. So as a leader who is observing the teacher should take this as an opportunity to give constructive criticism, not to label them.
Yes.
But to constructively give the criticism, saying that due to this, lack in this, you are not able to achieve this. If you can improve on this. So for doing that, as a school leader, I need to be more resourceful. We need to be aware of what is available. So very simple thing today in the world is full of, it's like an ocean of information. At least minimum thing a school leader should do is to bookmark important sites where such information is available. Like for example, CIET keeps showing in the CIET training page what training CIET is doing.
Yes.
So like this, CBSE keeps telling them, the states keeps telling them. So it's very important for the school leader to bookmark those websites where this informations are available, so that quick reference that can be given. There can be a digital board in the school as well. In the notice board, there can be a pamphlet that can be put saying that this is a program coming up, this month in these programs, please check out. So it will be a good guidance for the school teachers as well. Yeah. The second thing is setting up goals along with teachers. It's not that I will set up and tell you to reach. So when I worked in a school as a teacher, this is how my school leader helped me to set up my goals.
Okay.
The school leader used to sit, that was my first job. Okay. So the teacher, the principal used to sit with me, and usually she says like, you do your goals. So then the review is done, and we have seen it. It's not in my life. I have met many school leaders who are doing this today. Wow. But it is not shared outside. Can school leaders who are doing this, such practices in your schools, can you come out and share your practice? How you are able to set up goals along with teachers? There are many school leaders who are not aware of how to do it. So your success story can become a success story for others to follow. And you can also write on this. People today think like, I can write only research as in journals. I can write article. Why can't school leaders who are doing this good practices can write and publish it?
Yeah, true.
That will really support readers to understand the good practice. So we really encourage, if a school leader has to really spread their practice, they need to come out. Share it. If you're good at writing, write it in as article. If you're not good at writing, speak and publish it as podcast. Today, how many of us watch shorts? All of us. We are addicted to reels and shorts. Can't school leaders make reels and shorts of their successful stories? Why can't that be posted in the Facebook? That will give a lot of encouragement for others. The thing is, we always should make a range of options for teachers to pick up.
True.
Because we cannot always, as we say, that one shirt doesn't fit for everyone.
Yes.
So for everyone it will not be, everyone will not be comfortable doing the same format.
Yes.
So as a school leader, we should be able to give them various options for them to select. So that's one of the things the teachers should do, the school leaders to do, but to make an option, I need to be resourceful. So that's very important. And the very, very crucial thing is personal participation. The school leader should become a role model of personally participating in professional developments which can come and share. Many times we see when we talk to teachers, we'll say like every teacher when they go to professional development, they are expected to come back and share what they have learnt. All the school leaders when they go for some professional development program also should come and share what they have learned.
Absolutely.
So this will showcase the personal participation in the professional development process. These are all not great things what we are discussing now. These are all practiced by n number of school leaders in this country. We are only taking this to recall, to just insist again and to tell if you are one who is practicing this, come out and share yourself. So this is something which we need to emphasize on professional development. This is one of the key role of the school leader.
Absolutely, and you're talking about digital pedagogy. So when we talk about digital pedagogy, we talked about customization or personalization of education. But here you're talking about personalization of training as well. And I think this is immensely important because leaders should prioritize providing expertise to their teachers. And as you said, it's not about any random professional course that you're supposed to do, but what you really require, what is missing in your training, that you must be doing and that you must be fulfilling. Now, also you talked about that there are certain teachers who have this leadership ability or aptitude in them. I think this is also one of the role of school leaders to cultivate that leadership aptitude in the teachers or teaching community, so that teachers can learn from each other. They can be role models for the younger ones to follow. And of course, you talked about sharing their experiences. This is important. There has to be some kind of journal, whether you create a reel, make a short, you document it somewhere, because we need such incidents, we need such stories, and we need such recordings and observations so that we can improve upon the pedagogy.
Now, so here, when we talk about this, the hint which you have already given us, the next role of the school leader is having shared responsibility.
Absolutely.
Many times we hold on everything in our hand, which doesn't allow things to grow. We many times the leaders do not bring up the next level leaders.
Yes.
The second line leaders has to be encouraged. So it's also important that the school leader, when they are working, they should always build trust and relationship among various stakeholders, not just with the teachers. If we wanted to really bring the digital pedagogy into the school system, it's very important to have the trust from parents on us. Because when we expect our children to use mobile phones, many of the parents have to give their phones for the children to use it. So there should be a trust that has to be built between the school. The leaders should enable that building of the trust.
Yes.
Because the parents have to have the trust on teachers that when they give a resource, the teachers have checked it thoroughly that it is suitable for the students. Right? So similarly, the parents to teachers also have to have the trust on parents that if I give this work to home, that the parents will take the responsibility to sit with them. So this kind of trust building is something which has to be enabled. So to enable this, there should be discussion, conversations. Because many times in parents-teachers meeting, parents are not hesitant to come because they are worried only when we go, there will be discussion on how much marks my child has scored, where do my child stand in the class, who is better, who is not bad. But we should enable a culture in the school where parents will come to have conversations with teachers, school leaders to ensure this trust is developed among them, so that we can bring digital pedagogy into the classroom. Because in one of the conversations where we were talking about digital safety, we had parents, teachers and students talking in that consultation meeting. All the parents were shouting, saying that we are not literate about this digital things. That's why we are sending our children to school.
Yes.
So teachers should take care of. Then the teachers started responding, reacting rather. They started reacting, saying that how should I take care of everything? Only 8 hours children are with us. Other time even not 8 hours with us. Other time they are with you. So you need to take the responsibility. Then the children were talking in between. They are very smart. They were saying, we are all like empty boards, black boards. Whatever you people write, teachers and parents, it is written on us. So we are not responsible. But the reality is everyone has a shared responsibility in bringing something in the classroom. So if we really wanted to bring that kind of shared responsibility, then the conversation is really required.
Yes.
The second thing what can happen is like there should be an effective communicative system. So when we wanted to build a communication system, today it's not just always notice. Today there are schools wonderfully doing this. They have this instant messaging groups.
Yeah.
They have a conversation
Yes.
day. So they have made options for conversation, like communicating in an effective manner, not through only circulars. So there are digital ways of communication that helps. So this is one of the things that can be improved in the schools. And empowering teachers, students and parents to take the leadership roles. So as I was telling initially, to build the digital infrastructure, it is not the school principal's responsibility alone. Even the villagers took the responsibility.
Yes.
So that way, even when we are teaching, like I have an experience which I would like to share here with one of the national awardee who was taking a live session for the students. So it was for class 1 or 2 primary kid, like the teacher was teaching. It's during the COVID time.
Okay.
When he was taking the class, he was using Zoom as a platform, and he was taking a live session. So all the students were given at the home. This is what happened during pandemic, that parents give the tab in the tab or mobile to the children's hand, and they were engaged with other works. This teacher used a feature called avatar in that Zoom app, and he just changed his face to have an avatar, kind of his avatar.
Yeah.
It's like a comic character.
Yeah.
The moment his face changed, all the children started crying out, and they just left the phone tab and ran away. And this teacher was clueless. What's happening? Why children are running away? They were crying, literally could hear it. So the parents just came back, and then the teacher has to call parents and ask what's happening, why children are not, every child ran away in his class.
Okay.
So later he found that after talking, children were crying, saying that my teacher has got corona.
Oh God. That's
so
hilarious.
sometime what happened is they were not able to understand, but after discussion it is understood. In those times in TV, when advertisement was coming about corona, basically they showed an animated character in a like a ball which has eyes and ears. It will roll and come. Basically it was animated character which was shown in TV through advertisement, to create awareness on corona. For a child of class 1 or 2, they don't know what is corona.
Yes.
For them, what they saw in advertisement is a animated character which has eyes, ears and speaks. So when this teacher changed his face as avatar, they misunderstood it as they have done corona. Today advertisement speaks and talks a lot to children.
Yes.
That's where the parents' responsibility comes in, because today unknowingly we are exposing children to media because we are watching the media. That is where when this digital pedagogy comes in today, it is very important for parents to have that awareness, to take that responsibility of extending digital pedagogy to home.
True.
So that's very important. It's a need of the hour that a parent is also need to take part as a so if the parents have to be part of it, we need to empower the parents as part of the school. So school leaders have to empower teachers, parents and even the non-teaching staffs in the school. Non-academic staffs in the school have to be really empowered for this digital use, because many times the digital devices are getting damaged when they dust it or clean it because of the lack of awareness. Then putting penalty doesn't matter, doesn't have any influence, but we need to create that empowerment to safeguard the digital devices. And also it is very important to have a collaboration and shared decision making. Whenever we decide to buy something or implement something, it's important to have a discussion on it. So that's what the shared responsibility speaks about. The next important role of school leader is setting up the goals for innovative practices. Many times what we hear from the teachers is during our training we teach many things, but at the end when we ask, they will say, we wanted to do, madam, but our leaders don't allow, our management doesn't allow. Sometimes there is a need for shared decision making and shared setting up, setting the goals in a shared manner. Collaboratively, everyone should sit and set up the goals for the school, so that we bring in the innovative practices into the classroom. So for example, the one thing we have a fear is to experiment anything.
Yeah.
Because ultimately the school leader will be questioned if their achievement goes down. So there is always a fear in the school leaders, if I change any pedagogy and it doesn't work out, and if this affects the learning outcome, what will happen? I will be blamed.
Yes.
So not to take risk is where many of the leaders do not come forward for innovative practices. So that is where we have to check out. It's always easy. Anything you wanted to bring innovation is always not innovation in the world. Somewhere it would have been practiced.
Yeah.
You are going to bring that innovative practice into your classroom.
Yes.
So always we can check out, do a kind of a survey whether this has been implemented. Simple things. Today when we say use artificial intelligence based tools, AR, VR in school, we have a fear. What will happen? What will be the negative impact? Because we are listening to many negative things as well. Right. That is where we need to see the researches that has happened across the country. So the school leaders cannot just sit with what we have learnt in B.Ed and in M.Ed of. That's why this is part of our Masters in Education as well, to do a dissertation, to bring that practice of researching, reviewing what has happened. Has anywhere this particular inner practice has been done? What is to cause and effect? What is the enablers and barriers? So we can read out and then try to apply that and then practice it. So, and also when we are doing experiment, it is always to start with a pilot. One classroom, you can try implementing for one class, have an observation. If it doesn't work, try out. But have a timeline. I will try for 2 to 3 times. Instead of having a fear and not doing it, if we teach all this in development psychology. We tell a child has to try walking. If the child has a fear that if I walk, I will fall, then the child can never walk.
Absolutely.
So we need to take up that step of faith, step to take courage. With the courage, we need to take a step to do the experiment. And there are lots of emerging technologies when we bring in trying out this new pedagogies with emerging technologies. Always it is advisable to do pilot, because NEP also strongly recommends that when you are bringing disruptive technologies, there is need for piloting. The context in which the technology is used in outside the country is not same in the inside the country. It is not same in my classroom as it is in your classroom. So it is important to do pilot in my own context, to see the impact, to see how it reacts, how the child feels, how the teachers are comfortable. So it's very important to do that. When we are doing it, we need to pilot with the emerging technologies when we bring in the innovative practices. And we also really need to promote interdisciplinary and project-based learning. There are many innovative practices, digital innovative pedagogy that is given in NEP, that is talking about what are the various things that we have to bring in. But everything, like for example, toy-based pedagogy, it has scope for using technology. Experiential learning, it has scope for using technology. We should not see everything as independent. It is all interdisciplinary. It is all interoperable in the pedagogy also. We use this interoperable word only in the technology scenario, but in pedagogy also we can use technology in all the pedagogies that has been emphasized. So as a school leader, we need to try bringing in. There are lots of good resources available across the world to give guideline how to do it. There are samples, there are case studies. We should pull in to try out this in our classroom. And it is also very important to create a dedicated space. If something newly a teacher has done, We should give a time in our assembly or in teachers'
Yeah.
meeting for them to share. Until and otherwise a time or space or an appreciation is not given, it's not going to really come out. Even a simple tree, innovative tree,
Yes.
I saw in one of the school, there is a tree in the entrance that is made out of all the electronic waste.
Okay.
Every child has been told to bring all the electronic waste in their house, and there is in the school entrance they have kept a big basket kind of made with steel wires, and every child, if there is an electronic waste, they should not throw it in dustbin, come and throw it. And the art teacher has from that made a tree.
Wow.
And that tree is called as innovative tree, and in that tree every student who does something new, their names will be written and a very small card will be hanged there. Very simple thing, no cost, nothing, but that gives a lot of encouragement. So we need to have a dedicated space, and we also need to have this data documented.
Yeah.
This information documented. What innovations are. Sometimes we take it for granted and we skip and go.
True.
Then somebody will be awarded for the same thing.
Yes.
At that time we will think, oh, this is something we did 10 years back. But we didn't document it. So a very important thing is, even if it is a minute innovation, let's start documenting it, which can help us to showcase it to the world. And the last thing under the setting goal is we need to give priority for critical thinking, problem solving. All these terms have become now fantasy, in the fantasy world like a fuzzy word. But reality is, today children lack problem solving skills. Everyone is aware of it. Children are lacking critical thinking. You give a subject based problem, they are solving it. So there is no lack in problem solving skills or in the critical thinking skill. The only lack is application of this problem solving skill and the critical thinking skills in the real life scenario.
True.
Today children are very good. Otherwise we see children going more than, if we have to give, now today centum score is like by 99% of the students getting centum score.
Right.
So it's very important that, so knowledge is there for children, but the reality is application in the real life. So when we are talking innovative practices, we need to create scenarios where the children will apply all these learned things innovatively in the competition. We think today only hackathons can do this. Why should we wait for a hackathon to happen to give real life problem to apply and solve it? Why can't they start from this school? Weekly give a problem, tell them to solve it in their real life, come and share their best practice. So this can be a kind of thing. The last point which I would like to just highlight is the role of a school teacher is to redefine the learning with digital pedagogy. This is one of the model called SMAR. Usually SMAR, if you search in Google, it will come as SAMR.
Okay.
Here it's an addition of SAMRR, which is also, I felt this is more meaningful, so I thought I'll share it. In our national curriculum framework also, this model has been written with examples. Now we need to move from substitution to refining our technology use. All the time earlier we were writing in Blackboard, slowly we substituted with PowerPoint presentations. Just type it, use it instead of Blackboard.
Yeah.
That's merely substitution level. And these are the levels in which technology can be utilized in our classroom. So if you see here in this image, it talks very clearly, when we are doing only substitution and argumentation, it can only enhance learning.
Yeah.
And if we modify and redefine, it can transform. But when we refine it, we can affirm that our education is moving towards a quality education. So these are some of the roles a school leader can play and practice to really transform school education and use technology to lever the to leverage the educational practices.
Absolutely. It's all about refining, like how refined your inputs are when it comes to Chat GPT, the more accurate your results will be. So indeed, I think school leadership has a prominent role to play to facilitate communication, to encourage participation from various stakeholders, and to build that relationship among the staff, because I think you have highlighted so many points and I have so much to say. But you know, we are running short of time, so we have to wind up the conversation here. But I think the crux of the matter is that all these stories, all these incidents need to be documented, not just that it has to be highlighted in the world for some kind of appreciation, but for the improvisation, for the improvements, and of course for the people to get inspiration from what is happening, because digital pedagogy is something that is a need of the hour. That is something we are looking forward to, and we have to strive towards perfection in achieving the same. And that was our session for today, our webinar session, a really important one where we talked about digital pedagogy as a lever for improving students' learning, role of school leaders. And I must thank my expert for this wonderful conversation, this delightful information, and some eye-opening and really, I would say, heart-wrenching incidents. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Sorry, before we thank you, I would like to just tell all the leaders, if you have been doing something very, whatever we have discussed, there are many people who are doing it. So we would like you to post in your social media post about what you are doing, hashtag it with NCERT Digital Pedagogy, and you can always connect with our social media account for us to know and to pick up your stories to bring it on the stage.
Absolutely. With this wonderful message, we are wrapping up this session of ours on ET and ICT. So once again, thanking my expert and thanking my entire team for this, for making this session a success. And before I leave, let's take a quick look at the schedule, what's all coming ahead for you. Yes, in a short while from now, you can watch our session Sahyog, where we will talk about the impact of social media on adolescents' mental health. And these are the programs that you can watch on various platforms, and they are uploaded on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. So please do participate and let us know what you feel about them. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.